YouTube, what is going on? I am Thanasi, and we are back with another video on the 2022 Ford Bronco. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the top 5 things that I absolutely adore about this machine. And the first one, well, it's pretty simple. It's the looks. This two-door Bronco just looks the best. The proportions of the two-door are iconic, and in base model trim, you get a vehicle that reflects closest what the original Bronco was providing, okay? I mean that, right? From the steelies to the wheel tire setup to everything, the proportions, the look, the grille, the lighting, everything about this car. This is the closest you're going to get to replicating the Bronco of old. If you owned one of these in the 90s or maybe even older than that, this is the car that's going to remind you of all those feelings while giving you some modern technology in addition. And I just love the way this looks, especially in this black. I think Ford absolutely nailed the Ford Bronco design. But enough about the looks. Let's get inside where we'll talk about number 2. Because for this base model car, it actually genuinely surprised me. And for number 2, we're going to be talking about these screens. When I first came into this Bronco and I saw that 8-inch infotainment system to my right with the digital instrument cluster to my left, I was blown away. For $32,000, I get bright, vibrant screens ahead of me and to my right. This digital instrument cluster is awesome. It's so great. I love how configurable it is, from putting in turbo boost to watching your temps, all of that jazz. It's really nice to be able to see that in front of you. And that screen to your right is relatively lag-free and provides wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and you're getting all of that for $32,000. Sure, we have single zone climate. Sure, we don't have heated seats. Sure, we don't have blind spot detection, but damn it, we got 2 screens that I absolutely adore, and I'm glad are here because they definitely increase the quality of my experience behind the wheel. Number 3, though, pretty simple, has to be this driveline. Ford absolutely nailed it, putting in the 2.3-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine and pairing it with a 7-speed manual transmission. Now, this 2.3-liter 4-cylinder has been in everything, okay? This engine has been in Mustangs. This engine has been in Rangers. This engine has been in other SUVs. This engine has been in frickin' Focuses to a degree, and it's been produced for a really long time, okay? So reliability does not concern me. Excuse me. Wow, I hiccuped. I'm so, honestly, guys, I'm so ramped up over this engine that I just intake so much air, I hiccuped. That's how happy I am. But this 2.3-liter engine, if I'm going to be honest with you guys, 300 horsepower, 325 pound-feet of torque. No, this Bronco is not a speed machine, but it's torquey, it's fun, and you can row through the gears and have a good time. As I'm struggling to put this prop rod down, I do truly mean that. I'm genuinely excited to have this engine. Would I have loved to have the 2.7-liter? Sure, but a Ford Performance tune on this 2.3-liter gives me near those same numbers, so I don't actually worry about it. And this transmission is really, really great to use. While I call this a 6-speed in other videos because 6 of these gears are usable, you do have a crawl gear, which is all the way to the left and down, and this allows you on the road to really just putt along with the clutch fully removed at around 4 to 5 miles an hour. You would mainly use this off-road in very low-speed scenarios, or if you are stuck while you are driving. Those are the scenarios while you use them. Now, the action of this manual transmission is solid for a truck, and I gotta tell you guys, I've been loving this combination so far. Number 4, though, might surprise you, and that is these mirrors. Now, if you've owned Ford products for the last 20 years, then you're super used to this, okay? But this was my first time really enjoying it. And in a base model that doesn't have any blind spot, having this mirror-in-mirror is very helpful for navigating this seemingly wide Bronco on city streets and highways. Having this little mirror allows me to see my blind spot, to know who's behind me or who's in the other lane, but then I can also see in city streets when I'm parking very easily, so I don't miss the higher technology. And if you take the doors off, the mirrors are mounted to the body so you can still use them, unlike the Wrangler. And these fold really far in, as you saw earlier, so if you park on city streets, you're not necessarily worried about anybody taking it off like you would be on another vehicle. But number 5 is going to be a bit more confusing, so we're actually going to need to get behind the wheel. So let me put the window up. Let's leave these mirrors alone. Let's get behind the wheel and talk about the 5th best thing that I love about the Ford Bronco. Number 5 on this list, we actually gotta be behind the wheel, and this one's a little bit nuanced, so I'm gonna need you guys to work with me here in understanding what I'm talking about when I say it. Ford has developed something that is usable by anybody, regardless of what era of vehicle you're coming out of. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you're only coming out of an 80s, 90s, 70s, 60s, 50s machine, and modern technology eludes you, and it's something that you're not comfortable with. Well, fear not. The only modern technology this car has is this screen. And this screen, because of Uconnect 4, is remarkably easy to use. It's snappy, it's quick, it doesn't have a lot of loading time and lag, which is generally the biggest thing that frustrates anyone going to modern technology, is the lag and wait time that they have to have going into using screens. And other than that, that's it. This car has knobs for volume. This car has buttons for the HVAC. This car has buttons for cruise control. Everything on here is legible. So if you're coming out of a vehicle from the 70s, you'll hop in this car, no problem. Ford has made this vehicle super duper approachable. But if you're someone that's coming from a 2022 machine, maybe you want a little bit more of those tech doodads and gizmos, this screen is wireless Android and wireless Apple CarPlay. This car has a digital dash up here that is configurable to your heart's content. You can display turbo boost, you can display fuel, whatever you want, you could show it on here. So it's got something for you too, and it has all of that for $32,000. So huge shout out to Ford, because that is a really big undertaking. You've made a vehicle that my father and my father's father, or my mom or my mom's mom, would get in and easily understand how to drive. No problem. There's nothing crazy here. This isn't a Lucid. This isn't a Mercedes. This isn't a Genesis. Something that might be a little bit confusing or daunting to someone that doesn't really know how modern cars work. So that is an awesome thing that I love about this Ford Bronco, because it's approachable to anyone. Whether this is your first car or your last car, you're gonna get in this thing, you're gonna know how it's gonna work, and you're gonna enjoy every second of it, because it's super duper comfortable. We've talked about this in the introductory review, but thanks to the big suspension travel and these smaller wheels, this thing is super comfortable on the road, which I absolutely adore. That's a bonus 6th item, if you will, but it does bear mentioning that it is super comfy and pretty fast. So let's summarize our top 5 list for things that I love about this Ford Bronco over my 1,000 miles of ownership. Number 1, these screens are incredible. For $32,000, you are getting wireless Android and wireless Apple CarPlay, and you're getting a digital dash that is highly configurable. They look good, they're bright, they're vibrant, and they change very quickly with minimal lag. That's awesome. Number 2, I love the driveline in this car. It's so great. The 2.3 liter 4-cylinder engine has plenty of torque, and that turbo comes on pretty fast. And with this 6-speed usable manual transmission, it's just a dream to drive every day. I really, really enjoy it, and I didn't think I'd like a truck like this as much as I would to drive every day, but I really do like driving this thing. The third thing is the overall interior layout is pretty impressive. You got tons of space in here. This car's super wide, and because of that, you really do feel comfortable, regardless of your body type. My wife and I have very different body sizes. She feels just as comfortable in here as I am. She's a lot shorter and a lot lighter than I am. and she has no issues as well. The looks, I can't get enough of it, and I'm sure you can't either, and that's why you're considering a Ford Bronco, because damn it, it just looks the part. And this two-door especially hits home on that because it's proportioned correctly, and it just has the greenhouse that we all remember from the original Broncos. So I hope this video was very helpful for you guys, touching on a bunch of the things that I love about this Bronco over the first 1,000 miles. Now to come, we're going to be talking about more videos